Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hope you had a wonderful week. Hey, listen, don't forget to like, to subscribe, and leave a message if you like. But most of all, like and subscribe because I am trying to grow my channel. I want to keep bringing you all the awesome information that I can about relationships because you know what? We all want to be, well, not everybody, but some women want to be in committed relationships, where they're thriving and growing and enjoying a life with a partner, with a life partner. So last week, we talked about ways to know that he's not into you. Well, listen, I forgot to tell you how my date ended because I knew this guy. I didn't feel like he was into me. This was our first face-to-face date. So, um, we ended the night cordially, and he kept calling me, and things were the same. Nothing was changing. The conversations weren't changing. Um, he wasn't making any attempt to set up time to spend time together. Just wanted to talk on the phone. It was just odd. So eventually, I just had to say, I don't really think this is going anywhere. You seem like a really nice guy. I'm sure that the right person's out there for you because I know the right person's out there for me. It's been nice, trying to get to know you, but I don't really see this going anywhere. And he said, okay. So I think that was just a TW. We coined that a couple episodes ago, or quite a few episodes ago. A TW, a time waster. He was just a time waster. He's wasting my time, utilizing me to fill his time for whatever reason. But anyway, I was honest and, spoke my piece and moved on. So sometimes you just, like I said, you got to do what you got to do. But as women, you take the lead. If you take the lead. Don't let someone lead you unless you're in a relationship where that kind of situation exists. And it should exist, because you want a strong man. You want to be led by a strong man. You want to be led by a man that is going to look at you as a prize, look at you as someone that he needs to protect. So you want to be led by a strong man, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're having to make all the decisions, be the masculine role. You don't want that. Believe me, you don't want that. You want to be that feminine damsel in distress sometimes, for sure. Take my word. But anyway, so today let's talk about that. How to avoid being used by a man, by a time waster, a TW. So I have to keep my notes here because I got so many thoughts in my head that I had to make sure I share the right information. So listen, you got to set boundaries, ladies. You got to set boundaries. If you don't set boundaries, people just come in any direction at any time. You got to set boundaries. You have to let if you're looking for someone to build a relationship with, you want to get married, or you just want a companion, you just want someone to hang out with, have those kind of conversations, but set boundaries. So when they start to cross those boundaries, you can say, well, hey, listen, we had a conversation and I made this clear and you were okay with it. Because once they start to step over those boundaries, everything starts to change. It does. And if it changes because that's what you want, that's one thing. But if it's changing because someone's decided that they just want to step through the boundaries and do what they want to do, that's not going to work. Don't let that work. You need to stay in charge. You stay in charge until you don't need to be in charge. And you don't need to be in charge to that degree anyway, until you are in a committed, monogamous relationship. From my perspective, you may think differently. That's just my perspective. Also, don't give too much of yourself. And what happens is you start to give too much of yourself when you don't have anything going on in your life. And that's why I always say, I come back to it. You have got to have something going on in your life, things that you enjoy doing. So when you get bored or whatever, and you don't want to be available all the time, whenever for someone, have some things that you enjoy doing. And I can't tell you what, those things are, I can tell you some of the things that I like to do. I like to decorate. I'm into fashion. I write poetry. I've started a fitness and wellness business. So I'm a little bit all over the place. But all the things I just said to you are things that I like to do. So, I'm never really, no, I'm not going to say I'm never bored because sometimes I am, of course. But for the most part, I can just jump right into one of those things. I will change my entire house in a heartbeat and feel good about it after I've done it. And so you just got to find some things that you like to do, and that takes time. But you know what? You can do it because you don't want to be always be available, especially for the wrong person. And that's a time waster. You don't want to always be available, for a time waster. And be independent. Don't be someone that's dependent or have. Excuse me. Let me slow down here for a second. Don't be someone that a man thinks that you need him. You have to have it. No. Mm-mm. No, not at all. You don't. Because you know what? You got shit going on in your life, excuse my French, that you don't have to have him to take up your time. So don't let him think that. Let him know that you enjoy yourself, you enjoy life. You have friends. There are things that you like to do. Be independent. Be independent until you get to the point in that relationship where you know that your independence is not what you want to in the relationship. Because when you're too independent and you show that, it can. But when you know the relationship is on the trajectory of turning into something more than just a casual meeting or casual get together, when you know that it is all about let's build something, let's do something together. I see you as someone that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Then you know what? You kind of you soften that because you want to soften that. You still want to be someone that can take care of themselves if it comes to that. But if you're in a committed relationship, you now have a partner. You don't have to be that woman who appears to not need a man. No, we all want someone in our lives. And if you say I would say, don't say that you don't need a man. Say something like, you're okay if you aren't in a relationship. If you just have a friend, you're fine with that. You just have a companion. But we all need somebody that we can share our life with. And I say a man because that's what I'm focusing on because I'm not into other genres of relationships, so I can't really speak to those and wouldn't want to speak to those because I only want to speak to what I know most about, and that is relationships between a man and a woman. So be independent, but know when to soften that independency, know when to soften that. And ladies, hold on to your intimacy. Hold on to your intimacy because when you just give it freely and you're really not seeing the things that you need to see from the individual that you're engaging with, but you're just freely giving that up whenever, that's not how you avoid getting used by a man by no means because if if at some point you realize that he's really not into you and that that's all he's wanted anyway, then you know what? You've lost. You've lost. You have not, you've lost. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to lose because you need to keep the upper hand until it turns into something more than just, excuse me, more than just a casual friend. You keep the upper hand until it turns into a real monogamous relationship. And then it becomes a twofer, so to speak. But it becomes a relationship where you are doing things together, you're building together, you're communicating, you're having good conversations, you're making plans, you're working together to make investments, working together, maybe start a business, whatever, but you're doing it together. So don't give up. Don't give it up like that. Just don't. It's not worth it in the long run. Because then you start to feel, oh, why did I do that? Oh, why did I do that? If you don't do that, then you don't have to say why did I do that. But I'm not saying to never do that, but you kind of have to gauge and get a feeling for where the relationship is, where it's going. But if that's all you want out of the relationship, then so be it. You do you do you. I can't tell you anything after that. If that's all you want, then you know what? You do you and have fun doing it. That's all I can say. But remember, set boundaries. Don't give too much of yourself. Give just enough. Be independent. Don't be someone that he thinks needs him for everything, and that if he were to walk away, you would just fall apart. Absolutely, positively not. If he walked away, you know what you do? Close the door, say goodbye, and do you, because you got lots of things that you can do. And he becomes a figment of your imagination because you're not going to let that situation filter into your very soul to make you feel miserable. Absolutely, positively not. Sometimes, ladies, you just gotta talk to yourself. I'm not gonna lie to you. You just gotta talk to yourself to pick yourself up. Sometimes that's what you gotta do, and it's okay. It's okay. So, um, the last thing I said is real important, and the first thing I said is real important, and everything between that is just as important. So, don't forget. You're in charge. You're in control. You are in control until the relationship turns into something more than a casual meeting, a casual get together. Let's do this today. Let's do something tomorrow. We're not talking about the future, but when it starts to turn into things where you're talking about the future, all the things I just mentioned. And then if you're younger, you're talking about getting married and having babies and doing all of that, building a life together. Then you know it's time for you to be the partner who has a leader. And I know that sounds kind of oxymoronish, but you be the partner who has a leader because you want to be respected, as an equal, but as an equal that understands if you have a truly good man that is going to lead the family in the right direction and make all the right decisions, you're comfortable enough to let him do that, but you're also comfortable enough to speak up if you have input and say something. You might have an idea to tag on to his idea that just blows it up for both of you, and it becomes something so fantastic. You look at each other, you're like, "We did that. We did that." That's all I'm saying. So that's it. See you next week. But have fun, enjoy life, start thinking about all the things that you can do, so you don't have to sit around just waiting. Sit around, enjoy life, do some things that make you happy. And like I said, the more you love yourself, the more that's going to be seen on the inside. And that person that's out there for you, it will gradually appear because all of that goodness that's coming out of you is drawing that person closer and closer and closer. Don't forget, like, subscribe, also share, and leave a comment. I'm trying to get to any number that's more than the one that I have right now. So please, I am trying to grow and I want to keep bringing you or keep having great conversations with you because I really do want this to become more like a conversation. I'm going to be going live next week. So, look for that. It'll probably be on a Sunday evening. So, check me out. Come on, talk. Let's have some good conversation about building good relationships. So listen. Have a wonderful evening, and we will talk sooner than later.